Hey there, I'm Patrick Franco. Let's look at Siddhasana. The word Siddhi is translated as an elevated being. So this pose is a pose that is devoted to elevated beings, which is why this pose is one of the preferred choices for practicing meditation or pranayama. This pose, along with Padmasana, lotus pose, Virasana, hero's pose, as well as Sukhasana, easy seat, are all great choices either to start your class with when you want to start seated, or to end class with when you're doing meditation, pranayama, or simply a moment of solitude before you go on into your day. Siddhasana is primarily a pose that stretches the body more than strengthening the body, but it does have some subtle strengthening elements as well. So Siddhasana has two bent, externally rotated legs, which means the inner thighs and groins are going to be stretched, as well as the feet and the ankles also going to be stretched. The component of the pose that does strengthen is the abdominal muscles and the muscles of the spine in order to keep the torso upright. So let's go ahead and look at Siddhasana now. And as with most seated poses, we do start in staff pose, Dandasana, which we take the legs out in front of us. From here, I'm going to widen my legs a little bit and bend one leg fully in. And you can see that there's a very deep bend. I'm on the shin, top of the ankle, and foot, heel to pubic bone. And I'm going to do the same with the other leg. I'm going to line up heel, heel, belly button, or heel, heel, pubic bone, as best as I can. So this is what I would call stage one of Siddhasana, in which you get the feet, ankle, shin to your yoga mat placed in front of each other. But eventually we want to get the toes inside between the calves and the hamstrings. So I'm going to do the front leg first. I place it on top, tuck my toes in between the space of my calf and my hamstring. This knee lifted, so I do have to try to get it down. And then the bottom foot slides under also into that space. Now it is challenging because, as with all seated poses, gravity is doing a lot of work, and so it's pulling my torso down. And you can see my one leg does want to lift, so I'm going to adjust to see if I can get this leg down. The next part is, once you have the leg position, is to upright your chest. So I'm going to take my hands behind me. I'm going to tilt a little bit forward so my thighs stay down and my chest lifts. Once I'm here, the idea is to maintain that shape, and you can bring your hands out in front of you in a few different mudras. This is Jnana Mudra, thumb and pointer finger together, chest lifted. So here's Siddhasana, the pose for the Siddhis, which are elevated beings. So as you saw, this pose is very challenging. The key component with most seated poses is that most of us do need to elevate the hips. And when we elevate the hips, we know a few things happen. The legs get to relax down and the spine gets to go upright. So I brought my two blankets over. I'm going to slide them underneath me, and I can redo the pose from the beginning. I'll bend one leg, and then I'll bend the other leg. It's really key to have your knees down because we don't want it floating in space. And when I was sitting on the floor, it was hard for me to keep both of my thighs down. And you can also see this deep stretch and lengthening in my inner thighs and groins. From here, heel, heel, belly button, that's a great place to start. But if I can, I will go for the classic version, slide the foot in, this knee comes back down. Then the bottom foot slides through and under as much as is possible. And now, because my hips are elevated, you can see that I can keep both thighs down and I can upright my chest. And then I can bring my hands onto my shins. And you can see why this pose is one of the preferred positions for meditation or for pranayama, because it allows the legs to relax and the torso to upright so that we may be able to go inward. All right, That was a look at Siddhasana, a pose that's devoted to these elevated beings called the Siddhis. It's a seated pose you'll find at the beginning or the end of a class, and it's a great pose to work in meditation or pranayama. All right, we'll see you on the mat next time.